We're very happy with the class that we were able to put together, and we think that it fills a lot of needs or areas of concern on this football team. A lot of people worked very hard on putting this class together and making it the success that it was. And you know, it all starts at the top with Dan Guerrero, and the support that he's given this football program in this last year has been outstanding. It's allowed us to do a lot of things that hopefully down the road will prove to help us be successful. There's two other people, that Patrina Long and Bobby Field from the third floor, that also did a tremendous amount of work to help us. But you know, it goes beyond the football staff. Obviously, when you go out and recruit, you know, those are the frontline guys. Those are the guys that are out there beating the bushes and in the homes. But there's so many other people on this campus that had so much to do with the success that we had today. Obviously, our academic support, our compliance, you know, our equipment people, and everybody else in this building, that our travel people. You know, I could go on, and everybody has a hand in the success that you have. Also, our players. You know, our players are great ambassadors for this university and this football program, and we bring kids on campus and pair them up with our student athletes. Our student athletes do a great job of presenting to them what UCLA is. And then I think that you can never underestimate the value of this student body here. You know, these kids come onto campus as recruits, and they spend 48 hours here, and they walk around this campus and they see a bunch of very successful young men and young women, very motivated young men and young women, typically with a smile on their face and a skip in their step. And just being around our student body, I think, is a real lure when we go out and we recruit. You know, these kids have a tremendous time on this campus. So a lot of work went into this class, and it was done by a lot of people, and we're excited about it.
If you have questions, please raise your hand and wait for the microphone to come to you before we
Jim, you said fill a lot of needs. What were the basic needs you got out of this class?
Well, our areas of concern were the offensive line, and I thought we did, you know, what appears to be a good job of addressing those concerns. The secondary is an area where we felt we needed to add some depth. We feel like we've done a decent job at this point. Linebacker is another area where we felt like we needed to add some quality pieces, and defensive line, and then punter as well. You know, when you lose a guy like Jeff Locke, somebody's got to go out there and try to duplicate the success that he had here, although that'll be very hard to do.
Can you talk about just the benefit of added resources, like having a private jet and that sort of thing, to kind of help you with the recruiting process?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of added resources. Like I said, a lot of people on this campus stepped up and really contributed to the success that we think we had today. You know, just the nature of recruiting today, it's so competitive. It's incredibly competitive, and it's become a national game for us. It's not just about recruiting California kids. Certainly, we're always going to start with homegrown talent. You know, we want California kids to play football in California. We want Southern California kids to stay in Southern California and play football in front of their friends and family. But we have to also be ready to go other places in the country for good student athletes, prospective student athletes. And so having the benefit of a private jet allows you to get into some of these places that you might not be able to get into and out of quickly when you're up against time constraints. And so we had a number of, you know, Mark Harlan's here in development, and Josh, and they did a tremendous job this year of, I mean, working tirelessly to try to provide us not only with alumni that would provide jets, but with people that would make donations for jet cards and things that could help our staff reach parts of this country where the players are that maybe we couldn't have gotten to and had the access to.
Coach, in a game, you could always feel a momentum change. When it comes to recruiting, did you feel like there was a momentum change today, or did you feel the momentum building for you guys to have this class?
Well, it's just a slow, steady grind. You know, until that piece of paper comes across the fax, it isn't over with any prospective student athlete that you're recruiting. So I don't know if we ever felt any shifts in momentum. For us, it was just about grinding and never letting up and never assuming that we had somebody locked down or someone totally committed. You know, it was continuing to develop the relationships and continuing to be there if they needed us to be there, and continuing to show our interest at all times. And I think our staff did a great job of that. These guys worked beyond all expectations, and I think it's going to pay off for us.
Can you compare the experience of, I mean, last time having 2 to 3 months to recruit, and this time having 12 months, and what the differences were for you?
Oh, it was completely different. You know, last year it was I don't think it was 3 months. It was it was about a month and a half, and it was just a race. And this year I had a chance to develop relationships with these kids and with their families, and get to know their coaches and some of their teachers and their counselors. And had a much better idea of the character of the person that we were bringing to UCLA. We did very well last year. This year, feel very confident that all the kids that are in this class are really quality people, the type of people that will represent UCLA the way it deserves to be represented.
With Massington, he's been on campus for since January 1st, right?
No, he's been on campus since January 7th.
Okay. And are you allowing him to do track? I know we talked about that.
No.
Okay. So can you explain what his rehab schedule is for his ACL?
No, because I have not been in his rehabs.
Okay.
I've been on the road recruiting.
Do you think he'll be back for spring? Cool. And then my other question was, do you have any other early enrollees or gray shirts that you're planning on?
I don't follow the question. I'm sorry.
The guys who signed any early enrollees or gray shirts?
Kylie Fitz.
Coach, could you talk about the quarterback from Florida, Woolard, and what he's going to bring to your program, and the competition that's going to provide at that position for the years to come?
Ashante, and you pronounce his name Ashante. The spelling, lends itself to some misunderstanding at times, but it's Ashante Woolard, and he's a big, athletic, smart, strong-armed football player. And we, quite frankly, got lucky, that he was out there and available when he was. The stars kind of aligned for us. He decommitted at a time when we were, really thinking that it was time to go get a quarterback. There were points in this process where we weren't going to take a quarterback because, we have Brett, who's done a heck of a job. We've got Jerry Neuheisel, we think's a very good quarterback. Devin Fuller's a guy we recruited to be a quarterback here. TJ Millward is a quarterback. So we're real bottom heavy. We have a lot of young guys, and we wanted to space it out a little bit. When Ashante was there and expressed interest in UCLA, and we did the research on him that we did, it just seemed like a perfect fit for our offense. And we expect him to come in here and compete with those other guys and try to push everybody to be better.
Can you talk maybe generally about this class's ability to impact immediately, and maybe some specific guys that you expect to do so?
Well, I don't know. Last year a lot of guys came in and played pretty quickly. And for us, it's about trying to create competition at every single position. And I think that allows your football team to grow very quickly. I don't know who's going to come in and have an impact early. I don't necessarily want to put any restrictions on anybody, and I don't want to put any expectations on anybody other than to say we expect all of these guys to come in great shape, with a great attitude, ready to work hard and compete to be the best they can be. And if they prove to be someone that can go on the field and help us win football games and do the things that we ask them to do the way they're supposed to be done and represent this university the way it's supposed to be represented, then we'll find a way to get them on the field.
Jim, with Jonathan Franklin gone, was there a hope of maybe getting more of a presence at running back in this class, or is that something you are confident with the guys you have right now? I'm
very confident with the guys we have now. You'd have to be a heck of a running back to come in here as a freshman and replace Jonathan Franklin. I think that sometimes people worry about not getting a running back in this class yet, And we're not done. Let's just make that clear. We're not done. We still have some spaces available. But there's probably not a incoming freshman running back in the United States of America that was going to come in here and replace Jonathan Franklin this year. And we think that we've got a good group of really young backs on this football team that as a committee can step up and do some of the things that Jonathan did.
What stands out about Sean Covington at punter, and are there any similarities you've noticed in terms of how he compares to Jeff?
No, Jeff Locke's an NFL punter for life. One of the great punters, I'm sure, in the history of the Pac-12, if not college football, and certainly UCLA. And I don't want to make any comparisons right now between Jeff Locke and a young man who has never stepped on a college football field. Yeah, he's got an excellent leg. He's got good get off. He's a good directional punter. He's got a strong leg on kickoffs. He's a young man that is unfazed by pressure. There were some times in the All-Star games he was backed up and had to one-step it out of the end zone and banged a 65-yarder. You know, he's not going to be affected by, I don't believe, the environments that we put him in here in the Pac-12. I think he'll just go out and respond. He's pretty steady.
You brought in a lot of offensive linemen, and those guys tend to take a year or two to develop. Do you see any of them coming in here and competing for a starting spot right away?
I see all 7 of them coming in here and competing for a starting spot right away. We're not going to limit what they can do. Some of these guys are outstanding high school football players, and we expect them to be outstanding college football players, and we expect it very soon. But I expect all 7 of these guys to come in right away, compete and start. And I think that's the attitude that they all need to have. And I think that's the attitude that the guys that are on this campus right now have to have too, is there's 7 guys coming to take my job.
Any other questions?
Over here.
You guys went head-to-head with USC on quite a few recruits and did pretty well. Is that, given that, does it mean anything given how much of a powerhouse they've kind of been in recruiting for the last few years, last decade, that you guys did so well head-to-head with them?
I don't even know who we went to head-to-head with them. We don't really pay attention necessarily to who we're recruiting against. You know, and I know this sounds cliche, but it's really about us recruiting the players that we think can help us be the football team we want to be. And certainly we're aware of the competition, but we don't worry about the competition. It's about presenting UCLA and what we're all about, and hoping that we can build a relationship that's mutual and attract these guys to this great school.
Coach, with the departure of Marcus Tuiasosopo to Washington, can you talk about the impact that Taylor Mazzone had stepping up into that role?
Taylor made an immediate impact. He, within about an hour of him being named the tight ends coach, he'd secured a commitment from Thomas Duarte, one of the best tight ends in America, and it was pretty impressive. I said, "Hey Taylor, you're the new tight ends coach. Can you call Thomas?" And about an hour later, he called back and said, "Thomas just committed." I said, "Okay, nice, way to go. Go get us another one." And he was key in the recruiting of Ashante Woolard as well.
Anyone else? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.